Good morning.
You're, you're here in person.
Together.
Oh, hello.
Sometimes life has a funny way.
Yeah, it's been a crazy morning so far. And it's 10 o'clock.
What is going on in the universe? Amanda, are you experiencing any different energy this weekend? Hey, Miss
Yeah.
April's coming in.
I need fancy pants, pressing buttons and stuff. I don't know. I'm just watching what you're
And then, let's see.
Yeah, it's been like a hi Jaya, like a I don't know, like a the world is doing weird stuff this morning, right?
Right?
Everybody's like right, we're sleeping late.
She said, of course.
Yeah, there's like some time space weird continuum thing going on. I don't know.
Something happened yesterday.
Something.
Happened. There's our guest. Let me bring her in. So Danielle, you can hear us. Well, you should be able to hear us. I'm going to ask you to join. Hi.
Good morning, everyone.
And it's going to prompt you with a request.
And you're gonna go, yeah. Hi, Rose.
And this is the perfect person to have as a guest today to
Maybe
know what's going on in the world.
Explain WTF.
What's happening?
What is happening?
Yeah.
Danielle, just tell us if you cannot join, and we'll send another.
April, you look like super adorable and glowy and dewy and like fresh.
I literally just woke up.
If we all had that type of luck to
19.
look that good.
You just had to throw the dagger in, huh?
I was like, 9:41. Hi. I'm like between 5 and 6 with no alarm kind of girl. Like, what's happening?
So Danielle, I'm going to send you another request on your screen. You should get a request to join where you just click. I'm sending it now again.
There's like a little plus sign too.
Yeah, there's a camera for you in the bottom at the bottom that you can also click and ask us to join. We'll see.
You're kind of low. Like I can hardly hear you, Cynthia, which is weird. You sound like you're farther away.
Yeah, it's weird. We're on literally the same buds.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing, Danielle?
Morning. We promise it'll get better from here.
Anybody else crazy energy, or just like you had a plan for the morning but the universe just completely took over and switched the plan?
It did say unable to join when you went to her. Is it a setting?
She might need an update. Danielle, you might need an update for Instagram. Sometimes that happens. Darn it. All right, for now we'll go again as the words are literally coming out of my mouth. Again, the morning shifts, right? And you go,
it does.
So Danielle, if you want to, you can share in the comments. Maybe we'll just go that route for now because it was telling us that you are unable to join. So sometimes that's just an update. Gia's helping you too.
I think like this, it's
cool.
It's nice to like be able to be like, all right, so things aren't going the way I intended, but like, how can I dance with the universe, or how will it dance with me if I just kind of am open?
Right. Yeah. So I think we'll go with that topic today. Seems pretty relevant. So funny. April, how do you feel when things like shift for you suddenly? Okay, let's try. Shoot. How do you feel when things shift suddenly?
I'm sorry. I'm like reading all the comments. Like, is she figuring it out? Is she figuring it out? Obviously today, that totally, I had all kinds of plans this morning before our call, and I was like, it's 9:41. What do I do? I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to do what I can. So, and then hop on. I'm dancing.
Archangel Michael, help with technology.
Please help.
Thank
So,
you for joining
you know, I usually honestly just take a breath and I'm like, okay, what can I do now? Like, I know I can do something. I know there's always a solution. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm hopping on and doing this and then I'll figure out the rest of the day, because we get so bogged down with what the picture is, you know, what that picturesque beautiful oil painting of nature looks like. And we get caught up in making sure that each stroke is exactly how we have it pictured in our head, right? And well, let's face it, that's not real life, but we get so reactive, right, to what our perception of what that is supposed to look like, that we can't see the other solutions that are right in front of our face. So for me, that's what kind of hit my heart when you said that, because literally every single one of us this morning, that's happened. So good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle, you might need an upgrade on your IG. That's what happens a lot.
So
Thank you. And I love too, Leanna like mentioned, just this being a day where people are just lending support to each other. Like already I ran into something, Leanna was like, can I support you? You ran into something, we figured it out, you know? So she was like, maybe it's just a day where everyone gets to receive in a different way. Yeah, so Danielle, since you're on the computer, you can leave like little notes in the comments too. I know some of Danielle's people have joined us, so our apologies, but we will have her back and we will get her live.
I'm going to offer, Danielle, maybe in the meantime, if you're on your computer, to upgrade your phone and let that do its thing to the side, and then perhaps attempt to reconnect once that upgrade is complete.
Meditate, maybe she's coming
Maybe.
on from someplace else, this little smarty pants. Determined.
Let's see. And if not, it's good.
Who is that?
I don't know. Well, that's somebody who wants to lend support, evidently.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to suggest other than if she has her phone.
Array of Light Wellness sent a request.
Meditate. Oh,
Oh, girl.
okay.
Oh, girl.
When there's
Hold
a
it.
will, there's
Hold it.
a ba-ba-ba.
It's going to happen. I feel it.
Okay. Good morning.
Yay!
Oh, hello.
You missed the whole
Okay.
thing. We're done. No, just kidding.
All right. Good morning. Okay, my computer let me down. I can't even see my face, but you know, here I am. I'm on the phone now. Ladies, so exciting. Michael's all over me. I'm sweating to death. I feel all the heat. I kept yelling, Michael, help us. All right. Oh, so we're not in retrograde. We are in new moon energy, but I guess we're all feeling it. So I'm giving it back to you now since I just took over. Good morning.
Yeah, go.
No, go.
Take over.
Well, talk about the new moon energy. Yeah, because I think we're all feeling it and might not know what it is or why or what it's just showing us or whatever.
Oh. All right. Good morning. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Danielle Ray. I'm an angel intuitive. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a light worker. I'm an eclectic healer, a coach. And I lovingly work with, teach yoga to special needs children and kids. And so I have a really good life. And I just moved to Virginia from New York. That's really a big topic for me because it's been in the last 5 weeks here. So we'll talk about major transition. But yes, we are in the new moon energy. The Lion's Gate was yesterday, so it's a nice portal to receive. Tons of new beginnings happening here, right? What happens in the new moon is it's a wonderful time to plant seeds of intention. I know, Cynthia, you were on my class last week, and we were really talking about, giving it up and let come what comes, as long as your energy matches what you're asking for, right? So it's so much more important in the new moon when we plant seeds of intention, when we focus on our goals. First of all, let's get real. We're always intention setting. We're always manifesting. We're always creating with every thought we think, with every emotion we feel, with every trigger we let trigger us instead of flowing through it. So the new moon is a time that we magnify what we're asking for. We can work with Archangel Haniel to increase that energy even more, to help us to connect with our intuition, right? Because our intuition is what really helps us when we are intention setting, so that we stay aligned with what is for our highest and greatest good, right? So it is a time right now that we are really mindful, always in the new moon especially, but really all the time. But in the new moon especially, be mindful of what you're asking for, what you're creating, what you're thinking about, where your energy is. Right?
Danielle, can you give an example of how somebody who, let's say, is like new to this world of, you know, intention setting and energy and all that type of stuff. So let's say they have an intention in mind or a goal in mind, and perhaps they're languaging it a certain way. Can you offer what the language, how the language could look in a forward moving way to be more aligned with receiving, if that makes sense? Like, how does somebody, you know, if they say like, I want money, like if that's their intention, like how do they language that in a way that's like more like manifesting?
Yes. So good morning, everybody. I see some comments. Up until now, so I watch my words, I'm challenged by reading and talking at the same time. So if girls, there's any questions that come up, like, so if anybody has one, an example that you want to give me of what you're wanting to manifest and create in your life, please do, because that's a great way, you know, let's be real. Let's take real examples here, right? So let's take money. Okay. So is that what you said? Is that what you said? Money.
Just as an example, if somebody's, you know, looking to plant the seeds
money.
of intention.
Yeah. Let's take money. First of all, when intention setting, you really have to be mindful of what your old beliefs are, what your fears are around what you're asking for. So if you have fear-based beliefs around anything that you're asking for, whether that's love, a new job, money, people being kind to you, people seeing you for who you are, people supporting you. If you have resistance, old beliefs, fear-based beliefs around what you're asking for, you are still magnifying in that energy. So if cancel. So I'm mindful of my words. So even when I'm talking like this, I don't want to put out there that I have no money in my bank account. Yeah. So if you believe, if you see that you have no money in your bank account, how are you saying and manifesting and creating, I have so much money in my bank account, when you are attached to the energy around that? If you're looking at your bank account and you're going, yeah, I went on vacation, I spent every last dime, but now let's make it. That's different. But when you're going 32 cents, how's 32 cents going to make me through the week? Or that job drains me, it sucks the life out of me. Then how are you going to create what you want? All right. First of all, and I'm going to get to the point, but I kind of wanted to talk about this anyway today. So we have to clear the energy in which our fears are in alignment with. Right? So we can cry, we can write it out, we can journal, we can just simply acknowledge, we can bless it. Thank you for reminding me that I'm still here in this fear-based belief. I choose to release this fear-based thought. And I move into a lighter energy. And then ask yourself, how can I add light to this? I can remind myself that money flows. I can remind myself that I'm a magnificent being here to serve, all that I'm here to serve, so the right job will find me. Okay. So when we start to then add love, add light, add grace, add surrender, call on the angels, right? You saw what I did. I'm going, I'm supposed to be on this show. What's going on? You know, and I didn't get into that like technology, you know, stinks. I just stayed in alignment with how can I add light here? So I called on the angels. So I took a breath. So I stayed in the moment. I didn't go into fear. Okay. So that's how you clear. That's how you hold the space. So in asking for, how can I get on this right now? Can you help me out in manifesting, getting online? Archangel Michael, thank you for supporting me and clearing any fear-based energy so I may move forward onto this call and add light. Okay. So simply acknowledging, please heal my fear-based thoughts. I love a book. It's not even far from me. I can read the title. The Only Little Prayer You'll Ever Need by Engelberg. It's a great book, and it just reminds you to stand in the space. Please heal my fear-based thought. A thought is only a thought, and it can be changed, right? So then we move into the new energy. And so even if, we're not writing our manifestation list, you see how I just moved my way out of a fear-based thought into what I'm now manifesting and creating. So we do this always in our day and in our life. Where am I and where am I going? Right? And then we stay where we are. So if I'm manifesting all of this money to go on vacation and to have extra to give to people and buy gifts, I like to buy gifts. So I just see myself buying gifts, right? Thank you, universe, for providing me with all the opportunities to bring into my life what I need, right? I am now consciously creating abundance in all areas of my life, right? I am worthy of the support that I am asking for to show up in my life, right? So those are some ways of statements, right? So when I'm manifesting also, I may write a letter saying, I now choose to release, cleanse, and clear all of this fear-based energy and dump it out. And then another entry saying, I am now open, and this is the trick, I am now open and allowing, whatever it is, for the greatest and highest good of all beings. Okay? So when you hold the space, greatest and highest good of all beings, you can trust that the universe has your back and is bringing you what you are in alignment with, but you have to stay in alignment with that. So I just want to bring us right into the present moment, because we sometimes get so focused on what we're creating, asking for, and manifesting that we forget to be present. And it's in this present energy that you're actually manifesting from. So notice where your fears are, and then start appreciating those tiny little things. Like, be in the moment, right? You want to be able to have and give, then practice so much gratitude when you spend 50 cents on the cup of coffee for your friend. Who cares? It's not a gourmet meal, right? You still gave, you still got to gift, right? If that was, for me, that was what I said I loved, right? This morning, sitting in Virginia, listening to my birds, I spent so much time getting here, right? In the sense of holding the space that all would, get us here, a lot of puzzle pieces, that I said, yep, now be in the moment. So I drank that coffee, I listened to those birds, and I enjoyed where it was. More gratitude brings me more to be grateful for also. Mm-hmm. So on this journey towards Virginia, I was asking for freedom and peace. Now it's 9:15, I'm drinking my coffee and my feet are up and I'm listening to the birds and I'm enjoying the peace. So you want more peace, enjoy your peace.
I love that you shared that one of the first things in setting intention is letting go of the fear base. Because for me, I don't think that I would have ever realized that gets to be part of the shift. So thank you. I think that was really helpful and really powerful in kind of like for like the analyzers, like the how to, like, well, how do I do this?
Right.
And the controllers. So I think that was super important.
Yes. And the other thing with that is releasing the expectation of what you're asking for. Okay. So we were on a call last week and I brought this up with you girls that, in manifest, I love nature. The universe knows I love nature. I appreciate every moment of nature. And in my last home on Long Island, I fell into a perfect location, which I didn't know at the time. And it turned around to be right by Blydenburg Park, which is a huge place. I used to, wander like a gypsy for 5 years. Lots of healing happened there. So grateful, so grateful. And when I was manifesting this, I really just had to surrender. I thought I was going to a different state, and this just unraveled. Beautiful story, actually, how we just listened. I gave up all fear-based thought and we just followed the signs and our town found us. We didn't really find it. And I'm walking last week and, well, I should tell you first that when I first got here, I wasn't worried about where nature was. I knew I would find my nature, right? And we found the home. We're also buying when there are no homes. So we kind of let everything kind of come to us. And then as we decided we were going to buy it, drove down the road, it's very windy here at some points. And I said, oh, 45 seconds, there's a path, there's something, it's going into the woods. I see that, right? I was so excited. Then I realized when I arrived, there's no way I can walk on this road, even though it's only 45 seconds. So I'm like, okay, I'll go the 2-minute car ride. But I like to like walk out my door and walk. So then a few days goes by, and everybody likes to talk here, so it's easy to get information. And I hear, and all of a sudden I realize that I can get literally from the corner that's like on the corner. It's like, you know, I don't know, close, and just go right down, and I can get in that way. So as I'm on this like walk, and I'm not even really appreciating that now I found this back way in, I start hysterical laughing. And I say to myself, if you give up control, the universe brings you exactly where you're supposed to be. Look where I am. I just walked to nature. Like I was like tripping over myself. It was like countryside and waterfall, and, you know, because I surrender. Hi, Dan. And I often say, hi, Christina. And I often say too, when we control, we block flow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you simply surrender, my vibration was, I want to live in peace. I want to be able to like be in nature because that's who I am. And I want to be able to serve. And here I am. Anybody have questions? What was going on down there on that little?
A lot of love. I'm seeing a lot of love.
Cool. Hello, love bugs. What's your questions?
So earlier, I will share with you, I think it might be your cousin, Stephanie. She shared intention around love relationship, soulmate, abundance of money, home to stay. So I did want to share that.
What was the last word you said?
Home to stay.
Home to stay, meaning like permanent residence. Yes. Okay. So Stephanie is actually a neighbor of mine oh my goodness, from Long Island. Hello, Steph. Love her. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So I know what she wants to talk about. Let's talk about love for a second. Gotcha. So when we're manifesting love, there's two people involved, right? So we have to like be on the same page. I always say when you're manifesting with someone else, you know, they're also creating and manifesting at the same time, right? So sometimes I'll jokingly say to my husband, I don't know what's going on with you over here with your energy, but you're messing up my mojo, right? Because, and it's not always him, of course, right? But two to tango. Okay. So here's the thing about anything, whether it's love, manifesting a home, all of these things, or having love already that maybe you're not fully in love with all of it. I'll say that, right? But you want it to work or grow. Number one, you have to release your fears around receiving what you want. You want love on all levels. You want to be, no matter what it is, you want to be supported by friends. You want to be supported by colleagues. You want to have enough money. You want to attract the right job, the right place to live. You have to, babies, whatever. You have to be in the vibration of receiving that and feeling worthy of receiving that, right? So sometimes when you have a block in the second chakra, which is the area that controls our happiness, our joy, our flow, and when it's blocked, we have guilt, we have shame, we have blame, right? Or we don't want to, like, we get nervous when we're flowing, right? So when you start to flow into that happiness, into that joy state, sometimes your fear-based energy can take you right back out of it. Right. So that's why when maybe you're everything's going great in a relationship, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, you just messed that up. You sabotaged it. You threw that in there. And you're blaming the other one too. Right. But that's because you're in alignment with what you're getting, which you're still not fully in receipt of receiving. You're not fully in receipt of being happy or being in flow. Then the argument comes in after a beautiful day or the disconnect or whatever it is, right? So first of all, you have to be in receipt and an allowance and feeling your worth around what you're asking for, or it will not come.
Danielle, when you say your second chakra, do they go this way or do they come from the root up?
Oh, girls, I don't have my little chart. I pull it out for you today, the ones I use for my kids. So we start root chakra, Root chakra
Okay.
is at the base of the spine. And then we go to the second chakra just below the belly button. Solar plexus at the center of the body. Heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra.
Okay. Thank you.
We talk about the major 7, but there's thousands of chakras. Okay. And all of the chakras affect like what, if they're blocked in any way, then they affect our flow. Okay. And we can, talk more about that another time. But basically you have to understand yourself and what you need to heal within yourself. So if you don't love and approve of yourself, and you know that, and you're asking for people to love you, you have to, number one, clear that, then be open to receiving the love, right? So many people can't even take a compliment. I used to do that. Oh, I love your shirt. Oh, I got it in Target or wherever, right? But I felt this need to justify everything, right? So a big thing that I work on with clients is the receipt. So if you're one of those people who says, oh, no, I'll buy for the 50-cent coffee, or, you have to argue over everything, like in that sense, right? Or you can't take a compliment, or you can't let someone open the door for you. Listen, I get it. But then stand there until someone opens that door for you. And then just simply say thank you. Right? So, yeah.
Marty offered, you have to believe it is actually happening before it happens, but if you doubt, it will never manifest. And then Rose Quartz Mama says she loves listening to you.
No, she's cute. She's a powerful one too. And thank you for that. I forget who you said that, but thank you for that also. And I'm looking at all my crystals around me that I picked to work with today. You can also work with crystals and different things to support you. Affirmations are a really great support, especially if you know what you're working on, right? Like, you're working on being loved and supported, say it all day long. The thing about affirmations, and affirmations are intentions, by the way. So if you're working on finding the right home or the right love or whatever it is, then put it out there. I'm worthy of love in all areas of my life. I'm worthy of feeling safe and supported in my surroundings, right? You can notice how I say worthy or it's safe for me, right? That's big things for me. But when you affirm, always affirm in the positive. We don't use no's, negatives, nots. And we always affirm, but we have to affirm from our energy and not from our words, right? When you're angry, you're yelling at someone, you're affirming everything, and very, very emotionally, right? So we have to bring that same emotion to what we're wanting to put out there in a positive way, right? And we have to magnify on that. So when we say affirmations, it's not just, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, right? It's, I'm happy. I'm feeling the happiness flow. I allow happiness and joy to flow into my life. Breathe it in and really feel that coming. Right? And continuing to do that throughout the day. But then notice also, when you're asking for things, universes are either going to give you the opportunity to practice receiving them, or your triggers are going to come up to receive them. Right? So if you're working on happiness and flow, then maybe someone will cut you off on the road so that you have the opportunity to remember being that, just flow and be happy. Stay in your happy no matter what anybody else is doing. Stay in your joy state.
Anything else with the new moon and energy and things that we should receive?
I would love you to share a little bit about like letting go of what things look like, and maybe share some of your experience recently.
Okay, so those were two different questions.
Yeah,
so,
that's okay. Yeah, we can shift to that.
No,
yeah, let's just finish with the new moon. So really, the new moon magnifies everything. Again, the new moon is just a really great time to plant seeds, to be mindful. But for me, it's like, I just want to emphasize again, it's bigger than the new moon. The new moon is when we bring our attention to it. The new moon is when we hold the space for it. but it's with everything that we do that we're intention setting, that we're manifesting, and we're creating. The new moon really magnifies it. So it's a good time to do new things, to, oh, look at this major new. So for me today, I felt that. I felt it, and then I couldn't get the light to work over here. But that's just my trigger, right? That's the universe going, Danielle, you're going to stay in your flow, girl, right? So today's a new moon. I get to do new things, right? Well, yesterday was the new moon. But so here's another thing. So the moon's energies, whether it be full or new, are magnified for 3 days before and 3 days after. All right. And so, yeah, I find too that in the new moon, so the full moon is a time for release and letting go and cleansing. But I also believe that that's very important in the new moon, because if you don't release, let go, and cleanse, you can't create and hold the space for the new. So I often find that no matter what the moon is, your little triggers or things that you may need to work on kind of come up for your attention, okay? And what I mean by triggers is, what are you presently aligned with? If you look at every area of your life, and one of the things, for example, is you don't feel good enough. Well, look here, look there, look there, look there. It's every area. It's not just one area, because that's what you need to grow through. So don't be mad at the person who doesn't support you, who doesn't see you or whatever. They're not going to see you until you feel worthy of being seen. All right? All right, all right. You want to hear an example? I'll tell you an example. So here's the thing I always say. Universe gives light workers and teachers so much to teach from. Okay, so we can share a lot of stories. So for many, many years in my life, up until, well, I don't even need to say up to, I'm working on it. It gets better and better all the time. But I had come into this life to really work on being supported. Right? Being supported by people, being supported by my environment, by my roof, over my head, all sorts of things. So that's root chakra energy. That is our base, our foundation. Root chakra is our family, our foundation, our support, right? Who we're supported by, our physical support, our emotional support, right? Relationships go in there a bit too. So I came into this life with having to work on that. I can see how childhood, all of it, right? At one point, I even said to myself, well, with your childhood, Danielle, your background, youth child, that makes sense that you don't feel supported. It makes sense that you don't allow people to be their word or to, show up. Like, I'll just do everything first. I'll ask someone, can you vacuum? And then I vacuum. Why do I do that?
Yeah.
Right? Or, things like that, because people up until that point hadn't been their word with me. So, of course, I've been working on this. I was actually spewing to a girlfriend once, and I like to spew. Like 10 minutes, I'm done. Like then, that wasn't 20 years ago, but that is now. So this was about, 6 years ago. And I'm talking about how this one's not accountable, this one's not accountable, this one's not accountable, this one's not. All you have to do is listen to yourself talk, or write in a journal for 15 minutes. Look at the words that you repeat. That's what you need to clear. So I look down, I go, oh, accountable. That's on me, not on them. Yes, they did. Yes. This wasn't clean. That wasn't clean. This one didn't follow through. Everything was there, but they showed up to my story to support me on what I needed to still grow through. Right? All right. So that said, it's on me to clear my alignment with accountability, right? And being supported. So then it would flip to a little bit later in the story, right? Maybe years, I don't know. And I literally told the person what I need. And this person's generally pretty good. Literally told them what I needed in a text message as far as like my emotional support. They wrote, okay. And I burst out laughing, right? Maybe if I was still asleep on my journey, I would have gone, this person is a bleep, because they're not showing up for me. But instead I said, well, clearly I'm not in alignment with support. All right. And then worked on that. And then as soon as I was ready, guess what? Everything just shows up. everything just started to support me. This worked out, that, but I had to surrender the fears. I had to release and let go. And I've never been so vulnerable in all my life that I have in the last year and a half, to be supported by, you know, my husband even getting a new job so that that could help us more feel comfortable in the transition, even though I was good because Zoom was supporting me, right? But the way that things are even flowing now, like with who knows what, I just have to stay in support. Otherwise, at any time, things could crumble, right? The universe supports me. Life supports me. Does that make sense? That good? Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and the more that you just identify, and not in a way that you're solidifying that it stays with you, but identifying that you're still in alignment with something gives you knowledge. Knowledge is power. You can clear it and move into a new thought. So it's safe for me to receive support. It's safe for me to trust people at their word. Do you see how I use the word safe, right? It's safe for me to move into this new energy of receipt. Okay. And then that's what I worked in. But then the little bit, the support would come in. Oh, I'll do that for you, Danielle. Oh, I can do that. Then I have to trust that and allow it. If I don't allow it, then I'm blocking it. So then I can't therefore be where I want to go. So it's in the moments, in the present moments, that you're holding the space for what's coming next. So if you're saying, believing that nobody like supports or shows up for you or whatever the story is, then you can't possibly bring it into where it's going.
I love the word safe. I think it's so powerful. And I think I get to choose to include that for myself in my language more, and in my intention, and in letting go of fear-based, you know, thinking and things like that. That's, I think for me, is just such a powerful feeling and word. And so I like that, you know, kind of like a fill in the blank. I am safe to insert, you know, your clearing here.
And there's a lot of words that are good because that may be your word, right? I love that word. We're manifesting certain things. But also I am worthy is a big word, right? And I like your word, which I use a lot, which is get to, right? So when we say I have to go to work, I get to go to work. I mean, you know, but even if you're doing the worst job, you still get to do, you know, you get to, you're not sick, you're not ill, you're not, you know, you get to do these things. So we get to live our life. And I also think in the manifesting process, people forget to get to do. Like just do it, be it, do it.
Yeah, true. Like
Right?
staying in the manifestation side, like
Yeah,
reading.
but you have to be here.
Yeah.
You can't always be in your vision board,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes we're like, you know, I have a lot of clients that, you know, but Danielle, I'm thinking this, I'm doing this, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking this. And I'll say, oh, okay. So if you're really believing that you're in alignment with having enough money and more than enough money and going on these vacations and doing all of these things, then why are you still behaving like you don't have enough? Right? I have a very old pattern of that, like the number game. And even if I know it's fine, I still, like, my husband's like, oh, you know, like he'll point that out. Right? That's an old habit. But because you're used to having to check, or you're used to have, you know, whatever your belief system is up until now needs to shift with your new vibration of what you're welcoming in. Because it's all about vibration, all about the energy. It doesn't matter what words come out of your mouth. Everybody's there, right?
Yeah. You just swirled for a little moment. Marty said action, action, action. And then I want to honor Stephanie earlier. Stephanie shared again. Okay, what if someone is having a hard time receiving your love and shows the wall they put up? How do we pray for them to open up their hearts to receiving love?
Well, I think you said that pretty clear, Steph. You know, you pray for them, you hold the space. So here's the thing about holding the space. We can't change people. We can't expect people to hear and all of that. But there's two parties. So let me talk about the other person first, and then I'll talk about you. So if we hold the space that someone can shift into something, we hold the space for them, like an open, like it's like an open blank canvas, right? So we're trusting that they can. We're trusting. Yeah. So my kids will say to me all the time, they'll be like, well, Mom, you always do it this way. I said, wait a minute. You only told me 3 days ago that it was an issue. Could you give me the opportunity? Can you hold the space for me to be different? Right. So a lot of the times we say, well, that person always does this, or they're not open to love, or they can't receive, or you are putting into cement what they are, as opposed to holding the space of what they can be. Right. So if you have like a mouthy teenager, even a mother who's saying, well, they always talk back to me, they always yell at me, they always take me as their target, cancel, cancel, cancel. Right. So I say, I like, no thanks, I have a teenager. Right. But I'm even guilty for that as a mother, like, because we attach them to their always, but then I'm not holding the space for them to be different. I'm not holding the space for me to receive the love and the light that I want, because I'm not giving them a chance if I'm cementing how they are. All right. And that's sometimes the problem, you know, even when we're, you know, in co-counseling with people, things like that, we're cementing how they are, but they do this, but they do this, but they do this, but they heard you. So let's hold the space. Or if they're working on receiving love, you have to hold the space for them too. Right. And if they're not open to anything, or they don't think it's like wrong, then just hold the space that they get what they need. Right. So that's on the one side. But on the other side, when you are also, so if you're in a relationship where you're not getting, like, that person's not receiving the full love, or you're not getting fully what you need, you also have to look at yourself. Why are you attracting someone who can't receive your love? So I invite you to continue to hold the space that you are in a co-creating relationship that is growing and blossoming together. So that's going to do one of two things. That's actually going to either hold the space for your relationship to grow, manifest, and then be, and then he can come along for the ride, or he's going to go do what he needs to do, and your better will come. Right? So we get focused on, but it has to be this job, or it has to be this house, or it has to be this man or woman or a person. But we want to focus on what we're asking for and not look for anything in our environment to change, just to be open to receiving what's best. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, and I think I've said this before too. So like you know, I just want to remind you that sometimes when we're holding the space for the greatest good of all the time, when we're holding the space for the greatest good of all beings, universe, God, angels, higher power, whatever's greater than you, sees the whole picture. So you have to surrender all the little pieces. When I was moving from one studio to the next, my landlord didn't understand the word autism at all, even though there was no lack of me speaking what my students needed. And even meditation, we need quiet, right? So it took me a year. I was looking for a new building, could not find this building. But I was also married to a number of what I was going to pay. Okay. And, you know, I really started focusing on service, helping people, just open space, handicap accessible, and all of and windows. I was like crazy about the windows, right? Because I was in a very dark space. So when I started to just release and surrender, and of course, hold the space, greatest good of all beings, hold the space that I was in service, right? He ripped apart the staircase, like in the middle of the night. There was banging everywhere. I was like at my wit's end, which if you're at your wit's end, you are not in flow. All right. So I held my hands up in the air, took a deep breath, called on everyone I knew. And in 24 hours, even though I've been looking a year, in 24 hours, I had a new place. It was 3 times my present rent. 3 times. That was fun. And I remember staring at the paper going, for the highest good of all beings. I didn't put a rent on there. On my manifestation list, I put a rent I can easily afford. And it was 3 times more my rent. I said, what, have I lost my marbles? But then I said, well, universe said. So I signed on the dotted line. And that would even be the same lease that she wouldn't let me out of at the end because of, you know, like, nope, Danielle, you got to stay, because everybody had to make, you know, their money or whatever, or pay their rents and things like that. So you would even think, oh, how did that turn out for the greatest good? Well, here I am now working from anywhere. I never thought that would happen. But if you just rewind a little, once I was in the studio a year, the studio was flowing, things were doing what they needed to be doing. I was employing 2 single mom teachers, which couldn't have made me happier. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was in a place that was 2 times less the rent. Okay? And those 2 women built beautiful careers now and are thriving on Long Island, should you need a yoga teacher working for me. So that said, we just continue to hold the space. Things may be scary. Look at your fears as they come up. You know, if you would have really told me that I could do my life like this, I probably would have put the nail right in that coffin with fear. Instead, I just stayed in flow. I stayed in surrender, and I said, how may I serve? Okay. Let me see. Yes, that makes sense. Good, Stephanie. I'm glad that makes sense. Good. Hi, Gina. Yeah, so that's fun. Do you girls have any more questions for me? I love this, by the way. Oh, this is fun.
It's fun.
It is fun for me. This is like, I love to just serve, and give a thumbs up if I'm serving this morning.
Yeah, I actually would love to hear, like, you hear all the time people feel stuck, right? Like they don't know where to start. They don't know how to get out of that hamster wheel that they've created with the energy and the flow of what their energy is creating, right? So what can you offer simply, or to create an understanding of how to get unstuck from that?
You know, I jokingly want to say, but this could help. It's just scream, you know, because, you know, you said stuck so many times. I'm like, wow, we're really in a place, and people feel like that. And I felt like that. And I, you know, honor it. First, honor it. You stuck, you stuck. Honor it. Then do something to move it, clear it, or identify it. Right. So a lot of the times too, people are stuck because they put too much on their plate. And I'll talk about that in a second. But look at what is making you stuck. So have a conversation with a friend, ask them to notice what words you keep saying. Okay. But it has to be a like-minded friend. And always call people that are going to put sand on your fire as opposed to pour fuel and make you worse. That's very true. Playing this game, that was the first lesson I ever taught myself. And this was back when we had phones. I would put my hand on the phone, you know, to dial, you know, to real phone. And I would pause there. And I would say, is this person going to serve me right now? Right? Because generally we pick people so we could complain. And that was when I was really learning. Like I was still maybe like a complainer. I didn't understand this game so much, you know? So, but I did know that I was wise enough to know, like, let's not call people who make you more stressed, which I was surrounded with. So, so first identify, call a like-minded friend, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to dump and clear. Did you just hear my burp, by the way? So burping is release, just FYI. So if you tend to burp a lot when you're clearing or moving through something, I know you girls, I know. So, and I only do this during this work, which is awesome. So that's good. But identify. You can also identify through journaling. So sometimes people think journaling, diary writing, taking like, you know, note of your life. When I say journal for health benefit, dump. Just dump. Dump whatever you're feeling, dump whatever it is. I don't like to blame or retell the story. I want to just see where I am. Why are you stuck? So I'm not getting what I need emotionally. I'm not getting what I need here. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not getting what I need. Oh, look, need what I'm getting, what I need. Right? So that already identifies what it is. Once I did that, look down at the paper, and I don't reread. I like spot read, just so that I can circle what the words are. Right? So like I looked down, the word alone was there. I'm like, who feels alone? I don't feel alone. Well, clearly I did. All right. So when we do things like that, we really can see what it is. because otherwise we don't really give ourselves the opportunity. We're just spinning in our head. So when you really say, I choose to release this, what's this? The stuck. And then it kind of comes out. I feel unmotivated. I feel overwhelmed. I feel this, that. And then you know what the fear-based energy is that you have to clear. Because there's only two energies, love or fear. So when you know what the fear is, you can work on releasing it. And then you can acknowledge it like this, like crazy, when everybody in your day gives you exactly that. Right? So if you're in alignment with feeling alone, then guess what? No one's going to return your phone call. No one's going to do their work. They're not even going to say hello to you on the street because that's what you're in alignment with. So when you realize what you're in alignment with, you can work on, I welcome people into my life. I welcome in new people into my life, right? See what I mean there? So, and that's all part of, you get unstuck so you can manifest and retrain the brain and push into that new energy. So journaling will help. Taking walks in nature will help. Meditating will help. Listening to music will help. Chanting and burning sage moves the energy in your home. So you can put on chanting like on Pandora or Spotify or something. Just put on any chanting, or Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha is Ganesh. He is the remover of obstacles. He's a deity, remover of obstacles. So Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha removes the obstacles in your path. You could just play that in the background of your home. You can play singing bowls if you have a singing bowl to play. That moves the energy in your home. Root chakra is a really good one because it grounds, clears the energy and grounds. If you have root chakra singing bowl, you can burn sage. You can burn incense. You can read poems. You can poems. I don't know. Someone must like poems because I don't even use the word poems. But things of inspiration to lift your vibration. When you feel stuck, rise up. Change your vibration. That's why I said nature, walk, water, right? Take a shower. Do an simple act of self-care.
Gia just saged her room, she said.
Of course she did. Like the gals on the phone, time to sage, right? And so if you see too, like never far from me is some sage. You could also, dilute it, but burn incense, essential oils, but dilute them was the message. Essential oils work great too. And sometimes with the stuff too, it just takes a little bit of movement to shift your energy in the upward direction, rise up, and then you go to the next thing. So I know we're talking about feeling stuck, and I'm going to go back there, but toolboxes are really good too. I always tell my clients, have a toolbox on the refrigerator so you know what works for you in times of your stuck and destructive behavior.
What are some of the examples of what could be in a toolbox?
Oh, girl. Woo! Took all my classes in one today. All right, go back there in a second. I'm going to go right back there in a second. I just want to go back to stuck. So with the stuck also, back it up. Like I have one client who I adore, and she has like a list this long of like summer, and she barely got through this much of it because you're school teacher, you want to like have all these things to do, but then that's overwhelming. Right? How about number one, give yourself the rest you need? Because if you're stuck, you probably need a little rest. Nice little cup of tea. Enjoy your tea. Sip your tea. Enjoy your tea. Taste your tea. Or your coffee like me this morning. Write out some, movement affirmations. And then give yourself permission to move forward. To shorten your list. Okay? Especially when it comes to feeling stuck with your self-growth or your intention setting. Just work on raising your vibration. And then that will help you feel unstuck. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. April, yeah? Absolutely. Okay. And then as far as toolbox, look at all those hearts. Woo!
Clearly no one's enjoying.
Next week, dream interpretation, girl. Next week, I read that comment. Hi, Gia. Okay. So as far as toolbox, a toolbox is different for all beings, and it's simply ways to raise your vibration, right? What is our vibration? The way in which we're feeling in this exact moment. So if you feel funky, that's your vibration. You put that funk out all over the place, and then it's coming right back to you because you are a magnet. She is laughing. So you're a magnet. So whatever your energy is, you put out, you receive back. Okay. So it's important to raise our vibration when we're feeling kind of funky. And if you have depression or anxiety, this is an extra great tool, especially on the refrigerator, because when we get anxious, overwhelmed, stuck, depressed, we're like, where do you go? Right? And I've been there. I'm like, angels, so that's number one. You could put on your list, call on the angels if you're a believer in that. Right? How about take a breath?
Yes.
Right? Just one conscious breath in, one conscious breath out is meditation. Remember that. Because people get, oh, well, I was a meditator. Well, take one breath, get back to your moment. Then take two breaths, and you'll get there. Use essential oils are big. So lavender, calming. Frankincense is great for depression. Peppermint for awake, alert, move forward kind of energy. Oils are great. Dilute them though. Sage, burning sage is again for the toolbox. Working with your crystals, toolbox. Eating something healthy, toolbox. Right? Take a walk. Like, so whatever serves you should be on that list. And it's different for all beings. Like, I'll write a list with you and then, cross out what doesn't work or what you think is silly. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it works for you. Right? Christina's on this call. She's a light worker and everything Christina's through artwork. So I bet she has pencils and crayons and probably on her refrigerator. Right? Because that helps her move all of the energy for her. And when we grab something off our toolbox, even if it's small, that's why I like sage, that's why I like oils, even a crystal, because you don't have to do that much. Then you can get to the next stage, which is, I know Reiki, I know EFT, I know how to meditate, I know yoga, I know how to take a walk, and then you can do those things you actually know that you have to participate in. All right?
I love that because I feel like it could be overwhelming. Like when you said toolkit, I'm thinking like, okay, like very specific things and they require a lot of energy and attention and effort. But I love that it could just be take a breath. Like just, it's almost like a checklist of things to kind of just get you present in the moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the idea though, is to have like, it works your way up too. So say my mind is do an hour Reiki session. I want to have little things to get me there. And that doesn't mean I always have to go there. Maybe like then I attract the phone, I shift my energy and then all of a sudden the phone rings and it's someone giggling on the other line. And then I no longer am in any kind of funk. And so it moved, right? But when we take one thing off that list, what's the message to the universe? I want to raise my vibration. I want to shift my vibe. So you do one thing and it rolls you forward. One thing. And that's why I like the sage. I like the essential oils. I like the easy things in that regard. Because even sometimes when you could have drink water on there, which is amazing. I mean, who doesn't need to drink water when we're a funk? Mm-hmm. But yet you don't want to drink water if you're funky. Mm-hmm. Right? I like that word I'm using. Funk. Okay. So that's it. Toolbox kit is like, I really swear by it. Hanging on your refrigerator. And write down even the basic things. Call on the angels. Why do you have to know what angel? I mean, it's nice to, but but sometimes you can't remember. So you just give yourself the basics. And then the more you give yourself the basics, they're going to be within you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for example, Ujjayi breath is a form of yoga breath. And when I get nervous, I unconsciously, watch, you're going to all laugh, start breathing like Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. Do you hear it? Mm-hmm. Okay. But that's my automatic. I don't even realize I'm doing it. Sometimes people will go, "Whoa, what's that sound?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I guess I was nervous." Right? Okay. Because my automatic started going on. Or if you're with affirmations, you may just start to hear them. Right? Whatever affirmations you rattle and rattle and rattle may just start to come back to you when you need them. So that's why we use our tools, we use our affirmations, and we work ourselves when we don't need the support. Because then when we need the support, it's there. People are always saying to me like, but Danielle, I did all this work and now I'm like stuck where I have this thing. Well, are you using your tools? Well, no, I used them for 10 years. Right? You got to keep using them. You have to really integrate this stuff into who you are. It's just like eating healthy. You want to eat healthy, you don't do it for 3 weeks. It becomes a lifestyle. So meditation, thinking healthy, using oils, burning sage to clear the energy in your home. I mean, so I love people say, oh, I cleaned my crystals when I got them. Oh, I cleaned my home when I moved in. I'm like, really? I clean my home like every time someone walks in and out of it. You have a teenager, burn 5 times a day, When my kids were little, at the front, the only way they could get in the door was it was sort of like a little hallway, and so the stage stick would be in the whole hallway burning, and they'd run in screaming, it smells. But they were clear, so it worked for me. So just do things to support you.
Well, you've been a huge support to us today and beyond, and to all of the people who took time to gift themselves with all this yumminess this morning. We thank you.
Yeah, fun. And thanks for, I'm looking at the clock. It's 11 o'clock. So ones represents your intentions, your angels, and now it's 101. So keep your intentions high, keep your vibration high. Your thoughts become things. I'm going to leave you there. And have a beautiful master manifesting day. Namaste.
Yes. Namaste, Danielle.
Thanks,
you.
girls. Love you. Love and light.
Love and light.
Okay, now shut off because